Alright, hello. I'm going to be testing a few different types of keyboards today, 8 total keyboards to be exact. I have them listed in front of you. There are going to be 2 rounds for each keyboard so that once I'm warm with one, I'll be able to test it again. And if I'm cold with it, I'll be warm by the end, and we'll kind of see how those results compare. I have a pretty good representation of keyboards here. I have an optical keyboard, um, a membrane keyboard which will service the control, several mechanical keyboards, each with the 3 main types of switches that you'd see, which are Cherry MX Red, which is just a linear switch, and we have Brown, which is a switch that has a tactile bump at the bottom, and then there's Blue, which is a tactile bump as well as a click report when you activate the key. So I'm going to be testing all 8 of these keyboards one after another in the same typing test for 1 minute, and I'll do that twice, so we'll be able to see how they work. The current typing test that I'm doing, I've done several times before, so I'm comfortable with the words and nothing should be a surprise. I went ahead and practiced it a few times at 2 minutes so that if I get further in the 1 minute zone, it won't be unknown words. Should be a good test. And it will tell me the total words per minute, which includes typos. It'll count the typos, which I have another column for, and then it'll calculate a net, or I guess calculated words per minute that factors in the rate of typos to give me a more adjusted words per minute if I were to be 100% accurate. Let me catch my breath here. Haven't had caffeine in a month and now I'm feeling crazy. That's about the only random factor in this test, is that I normally don't have caffeine. But I do a lot of typing every day. My fingers are pretty well adjusted to this specific keyboard in front of me, which is the EVGA Z20 optical keyboard that has gray switches. They're just linear. There's no bump. There's no click. I do feel like somewhat of a bottoming out, but there's no bump. So I'll probably leave the escape keys off of each of these so you can remember and skip through and see whichever switch you want to see. But another interesting column I've put in here is the guess that I have for each of these keyboards and how they're going to perform. I'm guessing this one, since it is the one that I've been using for about 6 months now. I'm very used to the feel of this keyboard. I'm guessing it'll be my highest score of about 80, which is the adjusted score. I typically type around that fast. However, now that the pressure of the camera is on, we'll see if I can even break 20. I don't know. We'll see. Probably make a few errors. The one thing that I wish this tested differently is if it auto adjusted you back to a word. So in the case of the typing test that I'm going to be using, if I type a sentence and miss the middle word of that sentence, the problem is it's going to count every word after that middle word that was missed as incorrect because they don't line up. Some tests I've taken in the past will reline up your typing so that you're not missing word after word after word because you missed one word, you just didn't type it. So if there is a test out there that you've found that accommodates for that error, then I'd like to see it because I think that's a more accurate measurement. But without further ado, let's give the Z20 a 1 minute typing test, see how fast I can do. I'm going to try and fix as many errors as I can while also getting a good time. So I don't know, maybe my style is different than yours, but we'll see how fast I do. I'm going to be doing rules of baseball, which has very few. It's considered, I think, an easier typing test. It's basic American English language, not too many numbers, not too many random symbols. Not too many quotes, capitals, those kinds of things. Is very basic. So let's just go ahead and get started. And it'll start typing as soon as I enter the first word. So here we go. Dang. Okay, so I definitely messed up a few words in there, and I went back, which slowed me down. But I'm pretty happy with that result. In the 2-minute test this morning when I first woke up, I was hitting 80. I only tested it once because I didn't want to skew anything. But I'm pretty happy with 99 adjusted. So only 3 typos. It's excellent. Again, this is the keyboard I'm most comfortable with right now. So that'll probably be the score to beat during this entire test. But as they warm up, maybe I'll get better with a couple different keyboards. So let's do 102, 399. Whoops. Okay. Let me throw in the control because I totally forgot about that one. I have an ASUS keyboard that was included with a gaming build that is going to serve as the main control here. And again, I apologize about the clickety noise from recording, but I wanted to leave it in there without any noise suppression so you could hear the different sounds within the keyboard. Obviously, this is a directional mic pointing towards me, so it shouldn't be picking up the clacking that's below me. However, it'll still happen even with these directional microphones like this. So you got to be aware of how loud some of these are. And that is not a loud keyboard. And you could definitely hear it, at least in my testing. So let me, of course, all the wires are all around this because it's been in storage for months. All right, so the membrane keyboard, that'll be an interesting one for sure. Let's just go at it. Okay, so I've plugged that in. I'm gonna open up these height adjustable tabs, give me an even more excellent posture typing here. We're gonna do retake the test, switch this to rules of baseball. I need to switch this to pro mode because it's just easier for me. And of course it won't let me click for some reason. God, they redid this website and it's just terrible now. Okay, so here we go with the membrane keyboard. Let's see how we do. Spalding's Baseball Guide and Official League Book for 1889, comma, quote, written that same year, semicolon, the language has stopped. Okay, I think I got slightly farther, so that surprised me a lot that I could type faster on this keyboard. However, that test is fresh in my muscle memory, I guess, so maybe that's a little bit to be expected. 104, I'm pretty happy with on the membrane, especially. So let me enter those in. 105, 104. It's probably the typos that got me slower on that other test. 105, 104. Okay. It occurs to me now that the net WPM doesn't include typos, so I could probably calculate that on my own. Oh well. Okay, now we're going on to the Corsair Vengeance K65. Now this was my keyboard of choice for a long time because it was just has a nice premium feel to it. It's right here. I just like it. You can't find metal keyboards very commonly, and this one, it's just really nice. I like it a lot. They sell K95 metal, but it was like only sold in Japan or something. And I have too many keyboards as it is, so I'm not buying any more right now. Okay, the Cherry MX Red keyboard. Here we go. Typing test, retake test. Rules of baseball. Start this off. Pro mode. Okay, and here we go. Oh my gosh! I gotta restart that. That was a terrible start. Pro mode, and here we go. Damn. Okay. Wow. This one, the keys feel like almost a little closer together. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But I was definitely a little crowded on this keyboard. So something to know, I guess. 104,599. So significantly more typos because of the layout is just slightly different. And the angle is possibly a little steeper, but still a fairly good score. Let's check out next the good old Rosewil. So this keyboard, when I got it, it was absolutely disgusting. It was missing pretty much every single key. I think that's the pass through. And it's a brown switch. I got it at Goodwill many years ago and had an extra set of keycaps, so I decided to clean and revive it, and it's been working very well. It's my only brown keyboard, and I feel like I like browns the best, even though I don't use them. So let's go to the typing test and take this really quickly. So baseball, okay. This one I have not used in years, so we'll see how that affects things. All right. And I'm not in pro mode, but that was a pretty rockin' start, I think. Oh, I hit caps lock. Dude, okay. That one absolutely felt the fastest. And that huge error with caps lock. Oh, okay. That probably would have been my best score. But oh well. Okay. 107,899. This keyboard feels light. It's significantly quiet. The one thing broken about this keyboard is the space bar. There's a metal bar that springs it back up, and that was kind of missing, and I'm using a non-stock space bar, so it doesn't quite fit the bracket, and that's why it's a little louder. But this is so far the quietest one, the Rosewil Brown that I got for $2. And a pretty solid score. It looks like pretty much everything's even right now in the net category. So let's switch to the Logitech, which is another fun one to try out. I'll probably just leave these keys off so I just don't forget anything. And I'll probably film this video in 2 parts just because it's starting to get a little long. Okay, here we have the Logitech. And this one was my favorite for a while, but the keycap choice that they use is not a particularly high quality material, and it's starting to rub off. I forget what the term is called, but it just gets disgusting and doesn't last very long. So let's try the Logitech, and this one is a low profile. It might be an optical switch. I think it is. The Z20 was another optical one, but these are white clear, very similar to a blue with the click. So let's just get going there. Here we have baseball. This keyboard takes up a lot of space, so I gotta push this back a little bit. Okay. Rules of baseball. Switch to pro mode, of course. And yeah, this one was my favorite for a while, but I haven't used it in years. So let's see how we do. Oh, okay. We're restarting that. Bad start, man. Okay. Oh, dude, one typo, the last word. Okay. This keyboard, I will say it was a little bit more difficult for my brain to discern whether or not I'd actually hit a key. It doesn't feel like there's a tactile bump at the bottom, but there might be. The click is not necessarily loud enough, maybe. It's definitely a quiet click compared to the other blue keyboard that I will be testing. But it does feel good to type on. The problem is it's very flat, so there's also that problem. It's not very ergonomic, but man, it's beautiful. So let's go 104, 1, 103. 4, 1, 103. So that's the second highest one. And that was like the blue, and the other one oh man, oh, dude, you gotta be kidding me right now. Okay, I skipped the Z15. So let me push all those down. My bad, guys. And dude. Okay, let me adjust this table. The second one I tested was the K65. Oh, no, it wasn't. Dude, that's the membrane one. Okay. Now, please observe the table because I believe this is correct. At first, I tested the Z20, which is the one I'm most comfortable with. That one, I got a few typos and hit 99 net words per minute. Then I tested the membrane keyboard as a control because I thought that would be the worst one. It's actually still my best performer, a membrane keyboard, somehow. Next, I tested the K65, which is a really nice but tight feeling metal keyboard. And yeah, that's the one I tested third. I got more typos because of how cramped my fingers were on the board, and ended up with 99, tying the other one I'm more comfortable with. So interesting there. The key travel on that one feels a little lighter. It could be cleaner actually, because I haven't used it in a while, and I have neglected to clean the Z20 after using it for 6 months. Then I tested the Rosewil, which was my Goodwill find. I got the highest total words per minute, but also the highest typos. With the caps lock error, 99, still a good score. Then finally the Logitech, where I had a decent score of 103 and only one typo. However, I don't know. I can't recommend this keyboard because of the keycaps, and they're proprietary, so you can't just buy a replacement set as far as I know. So pass on this one for sure. And I got it at a discount, so yeah, don't buy this keyboard. All right, I'm just gonna leave these off. All right, now to go back in the correct order, if I can actually even look at the one I'll be testing next. The one I should test next is the Z15. So the Z15 is identical to the Z20, except it's not as premium. It doesn't use optical switches, and let's see, it's the same color, gray. So same idea. It's a linear switch, no bump, no click, no wrist rest, although I could use the wrist rest from the Z20 to keep things equal. I think I'll do that. It's definitely a little bigger, the wrist rest. So interesting, because there's no macro row. That makes sense. All right, we'll go to typing test, retake this with the Z15 now, see how I do. We're at a 20-minute video, so that's awesome. All right, baseball, going to pro mode. Z15, great keycaps. Oh man, I don't think I've used this more than 5 times, 5 minutes. Dude, this feels mushy like the membrane. Whew, I tried to get it out there. I'm ending at the same place like every time, dude. 105, 3, 102. This one feels a little lighter, mushier, not as much feedback, definitely, as a Z20. So that is interesting. And this is just subtraction, so I don't need to look. Okay, and now the Poker II. This one is definitely the most difficult one to type on, in my opinion. It's pretty nice that it's so small, but it's not an easy keyboard to use. But I'm pretty happy that I have it because it is a nice USB-C, detachable cord, and yeah, I like this one. Take this off. Oh boy. Okay. This one is blue, and it's clicky and loud. Take caps lock off. It's very cramped, just like the K65, so I'm assuming I'm going to have the same issues that we saw there. So, switch to Pro mode, and show what I got on this guy. Oh, excellent start already. All right. We can't do that. We're giving everyone like 2 possible starts. Okay, I believe that's a B key. That was so bad. Okay, 90, yeah. I'll accept that. 110, 90. I really want to give this one another go because it feels way different than the other guys. But oh man, I don't think I'll do much better. Maybe I'll get 95, but I'm not pushing 99 or 100 ever on this keyboard. Okay, now finally the Strafe, which is an interesting one because it's extremely cheap and doesn't really offer anything special besides the switch type, which happens to be pink, which is a silent red. Even though red is already very quiet, this is supposed to be even quieter. And I think if I look, I thought I put spacers on this at one point. Maybe not. But anyways, you can see that it's not really red, it's pink. It was marketed as a silent keyboard, and I use this almost every day. That light looks so bad. Whatever. Yeah, it's a good workhorse, I guess, because I don't totally care about this one. Okay. Back to this. We're going to type as fast as we can on this. This is one I also use for work, so I have a lot of practice with this one. And maybe that'll mean something, maybe it won't. Let's see. Pro mode. Okay. Last test of this video. Not bad. 108, 10, 98. I'm not sure why I got so many typos, except for the fact that it's quieter. There's not much feedback to your brain or nervous system or muscles or whatever is detecting when you've hit a key to understand if it's happened or if you've made a mistake or what kind of feels different compared to the other ones where I had way fewer typos. It was obvious to me if I hit a wrong key. And I want to say that the Poker 2 was perhaps just a little too loud, where I don't know, some stuff got fuzzy in there. So there's a balance to strike, and it's totally different based on the user. I want to go through them all again, but I know it's going to take at least 8 minutes or 10 minutes, and this video is already 30 minutes long. Hopefully that helps you. I'm probably going to do this again and publish the final results as the thumbnail so you can look at it there. Maybe, or maybe at the end of this video. I don't like editing anything because I like raw, uncut video. Final thoughts, let me go through these. So the membrane keyboard that I did so well on, actually the best score, tells me something crazy. And that is buying a mechanical keyboard will not necessarily make you a faster typer. That is something I totally believed going into this test. And that membrane keyboard I have not used ever. I used it once or twice setting up the computer that it came with. But other than that, I don't type on membrane keyboards other than my laptop, and that I use a mechanical keyboard to do that too. So that was very surprising, and that was my second test, so I wasn't technically warm with that one yet compared to this one that I just did where I got 98 with 10 typos. Maybe I'm going a little too fast and that's messing up my score, and I should look at the total words per minute, which is still about even. They're all just above 100. Nothing too crazy. Even the Poker 2, which I had huge problems with, I still hit 100 total, but not accounting for typos. So I guess my advice is to try at least red, blue, and brown to get a feeling of what feels the best. It's seriously all about feel for your typing. And also pick a keyboard that has a metal backplate and replaceable keycaps, because sometimes the ones they come with are not made of durable like PBT double shot material that I have on this one, or it comes with a couple other ones like that Poker, and you'll want to replace those. And the metal backplate just feels so nice, and it lets the sound resonate a little better, I think, which helps you know how you're typing. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of this. It's all the exact same thing. So I'm probably going to use the one that feels the best to me, which right now is the Z20. For whatever reason, I really like the feel of optical keyboards, especially the Z20 over the Z15, which uses the same switch, but one is optical. I don't understand how to explain that. I wish I could explain that to you, but something about it. So if you haven't tried optical, you may notice a difference. That's another thing too. Another thing is my results may not be typical. I type a lot, and I type a lot very fast because I record a lot of stuff that is said in meetings and other things. So maybe just the amount of typing that I do has made it so that I can adapt to like almost any kind of keyboard and get very similar results. So at this point, I'm past the threshold of a keyboard helping me, and the bottleneck is no longer the keyboard. The bottleneck is like my ability or something like that. I'm not sure how to explain these numbers. Maybe if I had another person who wasn't very comfortable with typing, but could still knew home row and didn't have to look at the keys, but had a score of half of what I had, maybe there'd be more spread between the numbers. So that would be an interesting test. I recommend you do something like this from a friend that has a lot of these keyboard types, and anyone that has one mechanical keyboard probably has 10. So just ask them to try the different kinds. Money doesn't seem to be related at all to the performance. Yeah. Hopefully you got something out of this. It was pretty fun to record that. I definitely surprised myself. It was probably the performance enhancing drugs, caffeine, that helped me push past my typical 80 to 90 words per minute score to above 100 in a lot of these. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, thanks.